Let me just use this as a diagram. I'll just put that as me here. And that me will be you. If you say me, that's who we're talking about. And over here is the goal. And we're taught in life some interesting things. We're taught that the straightest way to get to the goal is the best way. So we know that way will get us there. We also know that very few of us have ever done the straight and narrow path. We're usually out here somehow flanking it. That's the right-wing group. And that's the left-wing group. Now, it just goes to show that you can belong to any group and still get to your goal. This goal here is undefined because that way you can't argue with me. I would win, however, because I'll change it if you start winning. I'll erase it and put something else in there. That's the only way to survive lecturing. So at some point, you're going to start going towards your goal. And in essence, if you're out here on your goal at some given point, you have a situation called, do I have enough ability to take me towards my goal? Do I have things clear enough inside of me that I can get there? And if you look at what you've done in the past, the answer is probably going to be no. Because you're down here. If you did have the ability, you'd be up here. So just looking at it logically, you're up against a profound experience of failure. If you have enough failures, they add up to success. But you have to keep multiplying through all the failures until there's no more failure available to you. Once you've done it all, the next time around, it's wisdom. And a lot of people are very glad for the mistakes we all have made because somebody has a problem and they come and talk to us and they start to talk about it and we smile inwardly because we had that, and we sort of gleefully chuckling that they also have it because we can save them. We have the information. We give it to them, and they sidestep the mistake and they step out in front of you. And then you start to follow somebody else. A lot of people don't like that. They're always thinking, I'm better than you. You should be judging all of your things by me. Now, that's got to be one of the biggest follies of mankind. Because look where mankind is in all these thousands of years. We're still on the brink of health, wealth, and happiness. I mean, sometimes we get a little bit of it, and then it backs off. And then we get married, and we have a lot of it, and then we go to divorce. Then we go to children, then we go to this, then we go to that. It almost feels most of the time that we're battling slavery of some kind. But it is really a slavery to something that is great, a profound ideology that everyone on this planet had the same creator, or, if you will, the same evolutionary mud pack. Maybe you picked yourself up out of the slime and took off. I didn't. I didn't make that mistake. Hey, it's okay with me if you did. I mean, you're here, right? When we were on the way to Rio one year, we were flying and the plane had air conditioning problems. And when you're going to South America in their summer, it gets hot. So the plane landed in the jungle. And that was Manaus area. So we all got out, and it was hot. It was more than hot. Your clothes were wet in just a few minutes. But there were a lot of Japanese people on the airplane. And they got off, and under one of the wings, they started heating up some tea. And I thought, with all this heat, they're heating tea. Then it started raining, and I got under the wing with them. We're outside. They offered me some tea. And when somebody offers you something like that, I take it. I mean, I wasn't going to drink it. But then they said a bunch of things, and then cheers. So we drank the tea. It was amazing. The tea was very hot. It was hotter than I was. And my body took over and kicked in the air conditioning system inside of me, and I started cooling down. So when I finished the tea, I just handed the cup back. They went to take it, and I just held it, so they poured more tea into it. There's ways to communicate in all language what you want. When we got into Rio, some of the people were complaining, and one of the yokels on the airplane, he looked like he'd just gotten up off the turnip wagon. People were really complaining, very vocal, and we're going to sue the airline and sue the country and sue the headhunters and anybody else they could get a hold of. He says, none of that matters, man. We're here now. That's what counts. We're here now. And that was the truth. None of that other stuff counted, so it was an unhappy experience. I knew that someday it would be seminar information. See, everything that happens to you is really a blessing, and that's hard to get at times, because sometimes the curse appears and the blessing appears many years later. And it's hard to say, thank God that happened, when it was such a disaster at the time. I have found out that if things are going to be funny later on when you tell them, they're funny right then. And if you can have that little impish sense of humor inside of you when something starts to go real bad, you know, this is going to be funny when I tell it, you start to laugh. And what you need when things are going bad is a good laugh. Isn't that right? I mean, when you've done something wrong and you're in depression, do you need a hammer to hit yourself in the head? Well, a lot of people beat themselves up by doing that. You know, that's ridiculous. When you're down, you need something that picks you up.